Hey y'all. Unclear, but this video might go really long because I have 3 pages of notes, but they're like small pages, so. Okay. So I'm recording this a little early because I wanted to be able to say Merry Christmas to you guys. I doubt I'll post over the weekend because I'll be a little busy, so Merry Christmas right now. And, Happy Holidays the rest of the holidays. Yeah. Oh god, my alarm. Okay. The cat vent calendar, really great idea. I'm so sad for your cats that it was a poor execution. That is so disappointing because like it sounds really exciting as an idea. The cruise, in terms of you're talking about the entertainment and culture not necessarily being something you think would mesh with you, and I totally get where you're coming from. Depending on the cruise I've taken, sometimes I'm like super into that and I go to all the shows and I go to trivia and I go to, I don't know, bars, whatever else is the thing. And other cruises, I just sit on the deck and watch the sun and watch the water and read a lot and write a lot. And one year, I was going on a cruise and I decided to write a murder mystery set on a cruise ship while on the cruise ship. So, yes, your idea, absolutely right. That is a thing that I wanted to finish, and I started it and I had this great idea and I never finished it up, so maybe I should. Because it is a really fun setting for a murder mystery, because when you're looking at, like, mine was like a point of view thing where there were like a whole bunch of different point of view characters and it bounced back and forth, and you don't get a point of view of the person who did it, so you're just like trying to you don't know from the person who did it that they did it, so you're just like hearing all these stories and trying to figure out who involved is actually the one who did it and why did they do it and what did they do. And I had so much fun coming up with that. And yeah. Kate, I'm so glad you got your booster. That's great. I'm really hoping that at this point the symptoms haven't been too bad and they don't get any worse. I know sometimes it's not fun, and yeah, I also got a Moderna booster, and it is half the dose. I thought Pfizer's was too, but I could be wrong about that. But hopefully that means it's less of a reaction. I think that would make a lot of sense that it was if it's half the dose. So hopefully, this is again a tangent off what you're saying. My TikTok, which I in general have used like once a week for half an hour because I've been so disappointed with my For You page this entire, what's it been, a year, 2 years I've had it, whatever. I've been like, oh, this whole thing sucks. For You page is stupid. And I would get like 10% of my videos would be something that interested me, so it was never really like that appealing. And within the last week, maybe, probably about a week, like, because I stopped going on TikTok between No Way Home having the official opening premiere and when it premiered for like real people. So I didn't use it for like 3 days, and then after I saw No Way Home, I went back on, and now legitimately 80% of what it's showing me is Marvel content, which is exactly what I wanted. So every single time I see a Marvel video, I like it no matter what it is, in order to convince TikTok to keep giving me that. And so now it's like I'll get like 4 Marvels in a row, and then an ad, and then one of something else, and then 4 Marvels in a row. Fantastic. So happy. Tumblr, you're talking about mutuals not being around anymore. I don't know if that'd be true for me, but I would imagine they've moved on to different fandoms. And the thing about Tumblr is if you're not into somebody else's fandom, then them being in your feed is kind of like annoying, or at least not interesting. And a lot of the mutuals I had last year, because of the Chinese dramas, are probably into other things that mesh with Chinese dramas, and I am not. So it wouldn't really make sense for me to interact with them again. Like, I doubt they're really into what I'm into now. I find cooking 1 time per week exhausting. I cannot imagine cooking all of my meals. And even, like, I get what you're saying about, like, microwaving potatoes when you don't have energy. Like, I have, like, a mental block on cooking, and sometimes I'll be like, I don't feel like it, I'm just gonna eat cookies. And I know, like, obviously that doesn't work if you can't eat cookies, but, like, mental block on cooking. So that, to me, that concept is just exhausting. Laptop, thank you. The reminder worked. That was a perfect system. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it is so far. So I'm missing 3, and I don't think they'll arrive for probably till after I get back. So, in the meantime, I'm just going to show you what I have. Okay. All right. So, oh my god, my hand is like shaking. This is probably terrible to look at. We have 3 baseball teams. We have this Frontier Airlines, which my sister works for and also is super cheap and affordable and is how I flew so many places when I was making $35,000 a year. This is a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell, which is not on their menu anymore, and I was sad. This is the first laptop sticker I ever put on this laptop, and it was the only one on it for the first year I owned it. NaNoWriMo, obviously. I have the outline of California with Disneyland imagery and the outline of Florida. Where are we? With Disney World imagery. And then also, this is a phrase from a Disney World ride that is my favorite ride ever. These are 2 cruise lines, and I had to have these custom ordered because they did not exist anywhere on Etsy, and I did not understand how that was possible, but I wanted them because those are a really big deal in my life. Then we have 1, I can't tell how in focus these are, so I apologize, 2, 3, and 4 Marvel stickers. Up here we have, there we go, the Bennett sisters, and an airplane for travel. And that is the Buy flag. And I think I covered all of them. And the ones I have remaining, I have Harry Potter. I waffled on that for a while. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do that because obviously, like, I'm not a fan of her. But the actual story meant a lot to me my whole life. And she doesn't get to co-opt that by being a sucky person. So I'm going to keep liking it. Also, I ordered it from an Etsy shop, so she doesn't make any money off of that, so I'm happy about that. And it's really pretty, so that's exciting. I ordered hear me out, this is gonna sound bonkers. I ordered a copy of a license plate from New Jersey that matches the car that I drove when I was like 18 and lived at my parents' house. And I basically was allowed to use the extra car because I was tasked with shuttling my siblings back and forth to their extracurriculars, and then like once a week I would also be able to like drive to the movies or whatever. And I drove that car from like, when do you have your license? Maybe 2008 to 2011 when it died, and I loved that car, and that license plate meant a lot to me, and the first 3 letters are RYZ. And I'm suddenly thinking I have told you this story recently, so just skip ahead if I have. So there's this story. So I had the license plate that started with RYZ. And then one day, my family was driving down the street, and I was in 10th grade, and my sister was in 8th grade. So she was in middle school, and I had already gone to high school 2 years earlier. And there was this guy who was like, what counts as like a middle school level suburban celebrity, not like a real person who anyone cares about. His name was, all right, I have to keep the last name the same, but for the sake of story, Brian Zmuda. And so we're driving down the street this time, and we see this girl, and I've never seen her before in my life. But I was like, I'm going to play a prank right now. So I told my sister, oh my God, that's Rachel Zmuda. That's Brian's sister. And she's like, what? He doesn't have a sister. And I just ran with it. I went with this whole story, and I just committed to the bit that like, oh yeah, she's a senior. She's a little older. That's why you haven't met her. She's super nice. She's in these extracurriculars. And I went into details about her life, and they believed me. And then eventually, like, I had to be like, no, I'm just kidding. All of that was untrue. She became this character. And my sister and I wrote stories for her and talked about her all the time like she was a real person. And then when we realized, her name was Rachel Zmuda, right? When we realized the license plate was RYZ, she became Rachel Yelena Zmuda. And so that has been like a fixture in my life since, I guess if I was a sophomore, that was like 2006 or something. So since then, she has been a figure. I'm pretty sure I'm still in my sister's phone as Rachel Zmuda, even though that is definitely not my name. I'm pretty sure she still has me, like my contact information as that name. So, big deal. All of that to say, I ordered a license plate sticker for the laptop that is RYZ and then the rest of the license plate. And I can't tell you what the license plate is because I ordered it for my car, and hopefully the state of California approves it so that I can have a California RYZ license plate. I will be so happy. And again, I think I may have told you guys this story like literally a week or 2 ago, and I'm sorry. But I have never been more proud of myself than the 2 moments when I custom ordered that sticker for my laptop and when I ordered it for my actual car. I think I will cry if they issue it to me and I receive it in the mail, because it means a lot to me. It was the first character who I got really emotionally invested in writing. And I made her. I created her. And also, just fond memories of the first taste of freedom I ever got was driving. So that was a really long tangent. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I know, I shouldn't apologize. I know how these videos go. It's always like this. Oh, and there was a third one. So Harry Potter license plate. Oh, and I ordered a Come From Away Playbill sticker. That is a really sweet Broadway show that I love. Pursuing the ADHD diagnosis, I don't know. It's so, it's jarring because, last time when I mentioned it, I lost the diagnosis in, 2011. I have mentioned it to psychiatrists multiple times since then, and they've either been like, no, it's hypomania, or they've been like, yeah, we'll see later, and then just drop the subject. And it's it is really upsetting to have doctors not listen to you. When I was 18, I told everyone, I'm bipolar, I'm bipolar, and they didn't listen to me. So I stopped saying it, and people stopped noticing, and then the world exploded. My world. So it's it sucks, I'd like if doctors would just listen to me and actually hear me out. They don't have to agree, but just hear me out, rather than, no, you don't. It's okay. The insurance versus insurance. My brain jumped to, I say Royal Caribbean for the cruise line, but I say Pirates of the Caribbean. So I know what you mean. I've said it different ways, and I know one of those is right and one of those is wrong. But I cannot say Royal Caribbean and I cannot say Pirates of the Caribbean. Neither one of those are both very jarring to me. So in different settings, I say that word super differently. So I think it's with insurance. And I said it your way. Whoa. The Oklahoma migration thing, super interesting. Especially because, when you look at the western side of the country, there is probably a lot of that. Because you have, later migration where there were, developed areas in the east and Midwest and center, south, whatever. And then they would migrate as a group. So it makes perfect sense that would have happened. And I totally get that would impact accents, especially if it's multiple people, definitely. Typing on the phone with two thumbs, I am very good at typing. I grew up having to use T9, which, if you remember that, was when you had to press 4 times for one letter and 3 times for another, and then 2 times for another. We got very fast at typing like that when we were teenagers. And I got very fast at typing like that under my desk as a teenager where I wasn't looking. So typing on a phone that has a keyboard where one button press is one letter, so much easier than that. Also, I can still type pretty well without looking at my phone. If I'm trying to just not look at something, if I'm using two thumbs, I'm pretty accurate. Autocorrect helps, obviously. But it's weird because you don't have the buttons, so it's if your thumb just moved up a little bit, you'd be hitting all the wrong buttons because you can't feel that they're wrong. But because of the angle, I guess, that my thumb or my hand sits the phone, it's always the same. But the issue is I hold it like this, thumb, pinky in, and it's even holding my hand like this to show you, it's my pinky is not happy. It's I feel I grew up 20 years in aging from 5 years of holding the phone like that. Okay, 2 more things. I really meant for this video to be shorter. My friends do a chocolate and cookie and candy exchange. There are 3 of us, so it doesn't make sense to do a Secret Santa because you'd know who you had every year. So we just trade chocolate and candy and stuff. So last year my friend sent us literally small piñatas, and it was very exciting to get a piñata in the mail. This year I sent them board games which are made of chocolate. So they're playable, but made of chocolate. They're $10 at Target. But then I also sent Lindor truffles, I think, because there's a baseball player named Lindor on the Mets, and one of the other girls and I are both Mets fans, so Lindor truffles. And then the wildest thing that has ever happened in my entire life. I ended up with hypothermia in California. I literally lived like how many years in New Jersey and Massachusetts, and it's California that I end up with hypothermia. What is going on? So I'm a very stubborn person, and my heater is so loud. So I literally have not lit the pilot light this whole time because it's like, oh, it'd be distracting and I can't sleep with it, so I'm not going to turn it on. Well, it was getting down to like 35 degrees every single night. And the other night, my apartment got so cold that even wearing the comfy giant sweater inside of a sleeping bag and underneath of my blankets, I was still like shaking cold and couldn't sleep for hours. And when I woke up in the morning and I went into work, which was a warm place, wearing warm clothes, I was shivering, like frozen to the core. It felt cold to my bones. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. Maybe I have COVID. And I like took a COVID test to see if I had a fever. I didn't have a thermometer, unfortunately. But I basically had to take a day off work and just huddle under blankets in like the warmest things I had. And then once I did finally warm up and I was not shivering and dizzy, because I was so dizzy, I went to Target and I bought a space heater. And now the space heater is on and my apartment is warm. I gave myself hypothermia indoors in California. I think that might be the first time that's ever happened to anyone. I shouldn't joke about that because I'm sure it happens to people who are living in poverty and can't afford heat. But it's probably the first time it's ever happened to someone who could have afforded heat but didn't because of stubbornness. Alright, DFTBA. I love you guys and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.